As for the program of today, he wishes to start the introduction of the texts that he has decided to teach here during this course. It is a text is called 4 Words or 4 Seed Syllables of Mahamudra. So to start out with the practice and experience of Mahamudra, the very first thing is to establish the proper attitude of mind. And this is the noble attitude of a bodhisattva called Bodhicitta, which is the so-called awakened heart, open one's heart for the concern of all sentient beings. And it is said that endowed with this noble attitude of bodhicitta, any virtuous activity that we engage in will have a lasting effect, will never vanish, the virtue will never exhaust as long as we haven't reached the final state of the full enlightenment of the Buddha. Whereas ordinary virtuous activity, without being embedded in the attitude of bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings, will have a temporary positive effect, but then this effect will vanish and nothing left. Understanding this, it should be our deepest concern to first give rise to this proper attitude, bodhicitta, within the depth of our hearts.
Then, General Song Joseph is an pen, Yankee Zambo, Chipai, Yankee Zambo, Singapore. Yankee Zambo, the honor, Terra, Tenny, Glory Agenda, Yagato, Roma, Drewood, Metal, Congo, the young pen road. Then, General Song Joseph is a big taking Chipai, yes.
The noble attitude of bodhicitta is compared, an example with that comes from the text of Shantideva, of the great Shantideva, and his entering of the life of the bodhisattva. It's compared with the appearance of a great tree. The great tree is of such type that in every year the tree keeps on growing and extending the branches, the leaves, and so on. And our mental attitude of bodhicitta that contains and embraces all of which activity is like this huge tree. In such a person's mind, the attitude of bodhicitta will grow. The virtue will grow from on and become stronger and stronger like the big tree grows. The opposite also is shown in the example of Shantideva, where he says that type of virtuous activity that takes place without being embedded in the attitude of a bodhisattva, then is like the appearance of a banana tree. The banana tree brings a fruit one time, then dries and dies, so with no further result. We might ask ourselves then how to give rise to this mental attitude of a bodhisattva. And what is this mental attitude actually directed towards? As it is said, the mental attitude of a bodhisattva is directed towards all sentient beings without one exception. Now, why should we concern ourselves with all sentient beings? As it is the case, all sentient beings in their appearance, in body and activity and speech activity seem to have a problem there. There's something going wrong. All this activity of their body and speech comes from their mental attitude, and if we understand what the attitude of sentient beings is, there is one thing in common, and this is that everyone is entangled in the hope for achieving happiness and prosperity. Well, it is a good wish to strive for happiness and excellent wealth and prosperity, but it is also the case that sentient beings do not know what the real cause for this goal might be. And what they do, in fact, to achieve this goal, they engage themselves with speech and body in actions that are harmful for the environment, that are motivated by hatred, by greed and jealousy, envy, and so forth. Now, when we look at that, we can see that the very motivation, intention of all sentient beings, it's fully opposed to what they actually do in body and speech to achieve that goal. That's a full inner contradiction. And understanding this, all sentient beings become the target of our own compassion and loving kindness towards them. Now, Rinpoche says, so based on the word of the great teacher of the Buddha, we can assume that all of us, all sentient beings, have been countless times manifesting in this world. And out of those births in this world, some of them happened due to just warmth and humidity, and others as miraculous birth, a sudden form of appearance, and both these cases do not depend on personal parents in that particular life, but in all other lifetimes, among those countless times that we have been manifesting here, we always appeared and were born in this world by the help of our particular parents of that lifetime. Now, considering those births that we had in these countless lifetimes by the help of our particular parents, it might happen occasionally for some people in some lifetimes, the very mother is not so expressively caring and is not so extremely happy about the birth of the child. But in a general sense, understanding, mothers care for their children. A great deal there have endowed with compassion and loving kindness towards the child and do their best they can to bring up the children. In that sense, we have good reason, to be filled with gratitude for the kindness that they did to us. When we consider now what has been said, the result of our thinking, all sentient beings in general are the target of our compassion, as against their own wish they entangle themselves in suffering unskillfully. And moreover, since in the countless lifetimes that we have been here in this world, all of them have served as our kind mothers, cared for us so much, and we have reason to be filled with gratitude towards them. Those sentient beings are the ones that are meant by the sentence, I engender my heart for all sentient beings to achieve the state of supreme enlightenment. Now we might say, well, there's a good reason for this authentic motivation and the wish to benefit all sentient beings. This really makes sense. However, I find myself incapable at this particular point to actually help sentient beings. I do not have those capacities. But that might be the reason, right here and now, to request the teaching, the instruction of Mahamudra, and to be determined to take this instruction into my life and to actually familiarize myself with Mahamudra so that by the experience that dawns in my mind stream, I might be able in the future to really benefit sentient beings. This is all about the motivation. So all this is the reason for why in the beginning we always engage in those words that express our attitude of bowing in front of the sources of our inspiration, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And also why we dwell in the contemplation of may all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they experience the genuine, true happiness that will last and will not fade away. And may they reach the great equanimity that does not know any more adoption and rejection near and far.
다들 그런 양답을 규차라. 그런 양답을 규바디 로추수수에 아자랑서 탐기게 나랑 취히 저게 책격에 라서 로추수수에 로추수선 차네 다 그런 양답을 중한테 출랑도 수에 뭐 로추수수아 로추수는 뭐잖아 포로송단다 포스라 로베나 취쇼베 라서 그 소는 로추수수 수마야 다나게 자네 그런 것들이 가야 사대 마도 그런 양답아 마도 취대 특별집을 나오고 취랑도 말이 자자의 그런 양답아 취 자네 로추수수 취랑도 또 차와.
Now, this, what we did just now to give rise to the noble attitude of mind, is what assures the first step of that mind is directed towards Dharma. This first orientation of mind actually took place because we were endowed with a wish to benefit all sentient beings, and for their sake we wished for the instruction of Mahamudra to integrate it in our lives and to familiarize ourselves with the meaning. If in that way, preceded by the proper attitude, mind is oriented towards Dharma, automatically our Dharma activity will follow the path of Mahayana, will follow the proper path, and will be successful. Otherwise, if we do not have the initial proper attitude, what can we expect? Sure, that our Dharma practice, whatever we do, is actually following the right path and that it will be successful there.
그러다 담반다라 사자점고 얘기했잖아요. 담바서. 그는 사자점고 소리도 제가 나랑서 생긴 이루게 차니 생명다.
The text now that we are going to receive here is called the advice, the instruction, the advice of the 4 words or syllables of Mahamudra. You should know that the term Mahamudra is but the word that refers to the very natural, the basic state of our mental operation.
제가 사자 전부도 제 소소라 잖나 사는 동바 전부 대자는 사로의 랑이 전부 간나 켜봐서 사이바디 나로 좀 생다라 오 동바 옆을 가도 생니까 좀 되는 마루바 때모데 동바 연바자라 사이면다 다들 살아라. 전부 끝나 쳐봐. 네, 내가 용기라는 것을 처음에요. 자기바디 당하로 좀 생각해보면 옆동 가도 가용해 봐 동바에나 양 반노 동반된다와 말이. 근데 뭐 동바행견도 살외게 차지. 그래, 삼자라 동바자라 요와이. 사회 자체라 때문에 저는 정정아 호박에 동안에서 나서봐 샤 정정아 송지제 고동연대 나서봐 샤 어디 샤와자 사와지 동연도 뭐 동연도 사회롱인데 송진주 받지.
Now to look further detailed into the word Mahamudra, we better take the Tibetan word because that is used as the base of the explanation here by each syllable. And the Tibetan word is Sakya Chenpo. So there are 3 aspects. There is Sak, there is Kya, and Chenpo. And the Sak here is identified with the meaning of being empty. Being empty. Second, Kya means to be clear, precise, clear. And the third, Chenpo, means great, but in the sense of all pervading the appearance of samsara and nirvana as well. Okay, we take a further look here. The means empty in the sense that we are not able, in our mind, to pinpoint an essence or inherent nature of the mind. There's nothing that we can actually hold onto and identify, say, this is the mind, here it is. It has this form, it has this color. This is impossible. You can never touch and reach anything in the mind as very inherent nature. So in that sense, it appears empty of something tangible. However, this being empty is not empty in the sense of the mere space or gap between things, like the nothingness, but it is at the same time, by the very nature, clear and precise. And within this clarity and precision, at times appearances occur of this world of suffering, where compulsively we are reborn, and which is like going into the cycle within suffering. And at times also the state of supreme enlightenment occurs with all the qualities of a Buddha. Whatever happens, it happens out of that clarity of mind that at the same time is empty of any identifiable inherent nature. Clear yet empty, empty yet clear. Now, the text that we are taking a look into now is called The Four Words of Mahamudra. The text is called like this because the explanation is divided into four main topics, which are, first of all, to clarify what is mind. Secondly, to be taught the skillful means to let mind abide. Thirdly, to eliminate the various wrong path, the wrong pathways of mind, eliminate the hindrances, and fourthly, be taught the path that this mind is following in the process of experience. The text was called The Four Statements of the advice as the four statements concerning Mahamudra. And advice, it is called in that sense that, first of all knowledge about Mahamudra came from the great teacher, the Buddha, manifesting as Vajradhara to teach all the various tantras, and within that also about Mahamudra. So thus the knowledge spread in this world. That out of all the amount of teachings of the tantras now, this knowledge about Mahamudra is extracted and accessible to us in a very comprised form. This is called advice. Wenn es jetzt dazu Fragen gibt, dann gibt es da etwas Gelegenheit für. Are there any questions? Now we have a short time to answer them.